Today, we're going to switch up the conversation a little bit from collecting, investing, and pack opening, and we're actually going to be reading some Pokemon card news. This article comes from PokeBeach, thank you very much PokeBeach, and it was released on June 11th, so this article in itself is a little bit older, but there is a more recent article that we're going to read after this. The title of this article is All of China's Exclusive Pokemon Go Cards Revealed. If you didn't know, China is trying to play catch up with the English and Japanese TCG for Pokemon. Essentially, I think around 2022 they started to release their own sets, their own boxes, etc. And they're using mostly the same artwork. Some of it's a little different though, from the English and Japanese sets that have been revealed, right? Have been released. But essentially, I mean, this is one of the key examples though of that certain Chinese cards are relatively exclusive, and the prints and the artwork is not the same that we have here in the English and Japanese sets. So the full set list has been revealed for China's next compilation set, CS5 Brave Stars, which will release on June 18th. So as I said, a little bit of an older article, and this set has already been released. Was having trouble finding the actual full set list for CS5 Brave Stars, as the simplified Chinese cards, obviously they are relatively popular and people are opening them up, but I guess it's just not super easy to come across a compiled version of every single card that is in that set. China's set features 14 cards from 2022's Pokemon Go, with new artwork that hasn't been released anywhere else in the world. This is one of the few times a country outside of Japan is getting new cards or artwork. So yes, as mentioned previously, there are brand new artworks for the Pokemon set, CS5 Brave Stars, which essentially it could be trying to replicate the Pokemon Go set that we have. But as we scroll further down, there's a very good reason why we might have new artworks. It's very good reason that they don't have the Niantic copyright. Essentially, Pokemon Go is banned over in China, so everything that has the Pokemon Go stamp, which I think is most cards in the set, so I'm a little funky on the details there, but everything that does have the Pokemon Go stamp or shows that a Niantic copyright, likely down here, as you can see, 2022 Niantic, they have to recreate the artwork for, right? So if we scroll up, we have a whole bunch of cards. So for starters, here is the simplified Chinese version of Bulbasaur, right? Very different artwork from what we got in the Japanese and English sets. Then you have Ivysaur over here, the Pokemon Go Ivysaur. Then you have the Venusaur. So this one is obviously the regular holographic. And then this is the Venusaur that we got. Then we have the Radiant cards. These are very interesting. So you have Radiant Venusaur over here. And then this is the simplified Chinese version. And then you have the English-Japanese Radiant Venusaur from the Pokemon Go we got. Then you move on to Charmander. This is obviously comparing and contrasting. Charmeleon. Then you have the Chinese Charizard, which is very interesting. I think, you'll be the judge of which one you like better, right? Which holographic, but I guess this one is more in tune with the actual or the normal aesthetic and style that we get for the artwork. And then this one is obviously more akin to, I guess, the Pokemon Go theme. Then we have the Slowpoke for simplified Chinese, and then the Slowpoke for English and Japanese. We have the Slowbro, obviously there, comparing and contrasting. Alolan Rattata, Alolan Raticate. Again, you be the judge of which ones you like better. We're glazing over the ones that, in my opinion, are just, minor differences. But then here we have the Radiant Eevee, which I find very interesting. So this is the simplified Chinese Radiant Eevee, and this is the Radiant Eevee we got in the form of a promo card, right? So this one obviously has a really neat hollow bleed all over. And then this is the one we got from the Pokemon Go English-Japanese version. Which one you like better? Again, completely up to you. I think I like ours better. I do like the idea of the hollow bleed and the hollow pattern on this one more than what we got, but I think I like the artwork a little better on this Radiant Eevee. Then moving on, we have the Snorlax holographic, simplified Chinese version, the version we got. Then we have Bibarel, this is the version in Chinese, and then this is the one that we got. So we can exit out of this, and then scrolling further down, China's set also features other Pokemon Go cards with their original artwork, including Mewtwo V/V-Star, Conkeldurr V, Melmetal V/VMAX, and Slacking V. So yes, as you can see here, it's not the greatest picture, but we have the simplified Chinese version of the Mewtwo V-Star Rainbow Rare or Secret Rare, and it's pretty much the same artwork as this. Again, I think because it doesn't have anything necessarily representing Niantic or Pokemon Go on it. So other than the Go in the bottom there, I wonder if the simplified Chinese version has that. I don't think so. Yeah, usually they just have writing, right? So yeah, so it's cards like those that will stay. And yeah, this PokeBeach, this article does say that there's no official explanation, but more than likely it's because the original Pokemon Go cards shared a copyright with Niantic. Creatures may have needed to commission new artwork under their normal licensing arrangement to dodge ties to Niantic, which definitely makes sense. And then this is the artwork for Brave Stars, which actually looks really nice. I do think, if one thing, the simplified Chinese artwork on their packs and everything is really cool. They're doing a really great job. Brave Stars contains cards from a few 2022 sets, including Pokemon Go, Starbirth, Incandescent Arcana, and more. But not every card was included. China spreads the Japanese cards across several releases, and sometimes cards are cut. Thus, it's unclear how many Pokemon Go cards will ultimately release in China. And yeah, like I mentioned before, China has been releasing compilation sets, there we go, that combine several different Japanese sets. The TCG officially launched in China in October 2022, nailed it, and they've been releasing their sets at a rapid pace to catch up with the rest of the world. Currently, they're up to the late Sword and Shield era. So yeah, I believe when they released in 2022, I think they started with even Sun and Moon cards. Not all of them were Sun and Moon cards, I think there were a few Sun and Moon cards. So I do think that's really cool. And China's known for releasing these really nice like collection boxes. They're the ones who released the Evolution collection boxes that comes with really nice promo cards, say like a Jolteon promo cards, and you have the Chinese booster packs. Honestly, they've been killing it over there. A few Chinese exclusive cards have released in the past, such as full art versions of Venusaur V and Blastoise V. Yeah, so those were other simplified Chinese cards that were released as well. That was a big one, is that, yeah, it was just Venusaur V and Blastoise V cards that we haven't seen over in the English and Japanese setting. And then we move over here, and it's nothing much more spectacular to add on to, but yeah, more exclusive Pokemon Go cards releasing in China, including Blastoise. Again, another PokeBeach article. As expected, China is releasing more Pokemon Go cards in their upcoming sets. Their next compilation set, Shadow of Glory, will feature Blastoise and Radiant Blastoise with brand new artwork. This artwork hasn't been seen anywhere else in the world, including Japan. So this is the artwork for the simplified Chinese Blastoise holographic. That is some really cool artwork. That is definitely amazing. Yeah, big kudos to them for that. And then this is the Radiant Blastoise that they get. That is some really cool artwork right there, to be honest with you. And this is the Blastoise we got. Definitely not bad. And that's the Radiant Blastoise. I will have to take sides on this one, that their Radiant Blastoise, in my opinion, looks a lot better. But what's most interesting is that a lot of these cards, like I said, are being spread out across different sets. So it almost seems like China is cherry picking certain cards from different Pokemon card sets and putting them together in these master sets, therefore cutting some out, like it said. So it's not like it's taking Brilliant Stars and then making, you know, Incandescent Star, I don't know, I'm just making that up, which is essentially the Chinese version of Brilliant Stars with all the cards just in simplified Chinese. It looks like they're cherry picking from different sets and just combining it into one master set, which is actually very interesting. Yeah, as I mentioned before, China's killing it. They're doing some really cool stuff over there with Pokemon. I'm not entirely sure what values are for a lot of these Chinese cards. They're definitely hard to come by, but I don't think they would uphold the same kind of value that we have here with English and Japanese cards, more so English cards, obviously. So that is pretty interesting to consider as well in terms of investing and collecting, and then just, you know, making returns if that's what you're looking for in this hobby, right? But yeah, very interesting. It kind of opens the door for a whole new scene of Pokemon, right? I mean, you have English, you have Japanese, those are the big main two right now. You have Korean cards, but those are kind of just more for fun little openings, right? Like the booster boxes, I could buy them for $30 Canadian, which is nothing, right? You get 30 packs for $30 Canadian, essentially $1 a pack. That's kind of insane, right? But I will say there's not a lot of value with those cards. Again, if the value is something you're looking for, if you're just looking to rip, fantastic. But something tells me these Chinese cards, maybe they won't be as expensive as their English and Japanese counterparts, but I think they're going to surpass Korean cards for sure. And like I mentioned, they have like these special collection boxes. There's these special Eevee, Evolution collection boxes. They have like Umbreon, Flareon, Vaporeon, etc. And they're just so amazing, and you don't find them anywhere else, right? They're only from simplified, or in the simplified Chinese version, coming from China. So those definitely have to hold a pretty penny, right? We'll finish off this article. As the previous article mentioned, Pokemon Go is banned in China, so that's likely why there's copyright issues. And yeah, these are likely coming out in this next set, Shadow of Glory, which will release in China on August 2nd. So it does look like China is pumping out some cards or some sets relatively quickly. I mean, we had June 18th from the last one, right? Which was Shadow of Glory. Was that? Or no, sorry. CS5 Brave Stars, right? That's June 18th. And then Shadow of Glory here, August 2nd. So they're definitely kind of taking the Japanese route of pumping out these smaller sets, it would seem, which I'm actually a bigger fan of. I don't mind waiting like 3 months in between sets, but I actually do really like the idea of constant smaller sets coming out. But I know that would kind of mess up the whole game over here for the English versions of cards, right? All the collection boxes, the premium boxes, ETBs, like it would all just kind of get fumbled and jumbled with if you just have smaller sets coming out, right? Because yeah, I don't know. Anyways, very interesting that, yeah, we have a new edition of Pokemon Go cards coming out. So if you liked Pokemon Go and you wanted to collect more cards for Pokemon Go, this is the way to do it. I mean, if I had to pick a favorite, what would I pick? Again, I do like the Radiant Eevee. I like the one that we got, but I do like this Radiant Eevee. I think it's really cool. We didn't get to see a Radiant Charizard from the simplified Chinese set. That's likely coming out in the future though, because we only got a Radiant Venusaur, and this didn't even feature Radiant Blastoise, right? So that's probably coming out in the future. That'll probably fetch a pretty penny, and yeah, very interesting. I would probably say the Eevee is my favorite card over here. If I had to guess, the Charizard, it's okay. It's nothing. It truly is nothing special. I guess the Radiant Venusaur would be pretty. It's a pretty nice card too. Again, the hollow pattern is great. It kind of almost looks like a fake card, you know. If you remember when you were a kid and you got like fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and they had this hollow pattern. That's why there's just something that doesn't sit right with me because of that hollow pattern. But I know obviously this is a real simplified Chinese card, but yeah, usually it's the fake cards that had patterns like these, right? So that's why I'm just like, you know, I kind of have that visceral reaction from my childhood. But yes, very interesting. That'll probably conclude this right now. I guess the smaller picture is we're getting Pokemon Go cards, but the bigger picture is if you're a collector and you're looking for unique, never before seen cards that we haven't had in the Japanese or English versions, it looks like the Chinese sets will be the way to go, because yeah, I mean, you don't find this. You are literally not going to find this. Well, you never know, but more than likely you're not going to find this in the English and Japanese sets. You're not going to find this one in the English and Japanese sets, right? So if you really were looking for that exclusivity, that rarity, that you probably can, I guess, hold bragging rights over other collectors of, I bet you don't have this card, right? It would definitely be probably from these simplified Chinese cards. Now, like I said, I don't know values. I have no idea, right, if this one is going to be like $10 USD or if this will be $1 USD because it's just not sought after, right? If it is $1, might even be better to pick up, right? If it is $10, just goes to show that there is a value for both, right? So yeah, food for thought. Thank you very much for watching. What are your thoughts on these new cards? What are your thoughts on Chinese cards? I'd love to know, and I'll catch you in the next one.